Yeah.
So, Professor Paul, can you tell us in your own words what experimental psychology is to you?
I think experimental psychology is the research branch of psychology that really looks at sort of the empirical underpinnings of human behavior from a statistical and sort of a scientific perspective.
Okay. And how did you become interested in experimental psychology?
I initially thought that I wasn't interested in counseling or working with people, so I thought that I wanted a research career, one devoted specifically to working in laboratories and that kind of a thing, but I found through experience of doing that it wasn't a good fit for me. But I wanted to be part of sort of the research level of understanding human behavior.
Right. And what is most interesting to you in this particular field of psychology?
Well, I think that there's so many different facets that you can research, that there's so much about human behavior that we don't know, and experimental psychology is so broad that it really gives a lot of opportunities to explore whatever it is that you want to explore as it pertains to human behavior.
Right. And how does being an experimental psychologist differ from other fields of psychology?
In experimental psychology, there's a heavy emphasis on research, on sort of the empirical side of psychology. So folks who are in experimental programs aren't learning to deal with sort of counseling or clinical issues. Their training is specifically in research design, research technique, data collection, data analyses, these sorts of things. So it's much less of an applied type field compared to counseling or clinical.
Correct. And what kind of research teams have you been involved with?
When I was at UTA, I was involved specifically in a research lab that had to do with how people encode memories, and so we were interested in various theoretical schools of thought on how people encode memories, and then specifically we examined sort of risk behaviors of adolescents and kind of analyzed how their sort of memory capacity and how they remember influences the types of decisions and choices that they make when it comes to risky sexual behavior.
Oh, that's very interesting. And for people who are interested in experimental psychology, what advice would you give them on becoming successful in this field?
I would say to really enjoy research, to be passionate about it, to have a strong background and a strong understanding in statistics, because a lot of experimental psychology is very much grounded in the data, and so a strong stats background and really just enjoying research, I think, are really important.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Thanks.